Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. I'm going to talk about the video game industry. I just got done recording a video for Clownfish Gaming for the D-Res podcast, but I'll talk about it over here too. The video game industry is going on strike. Yeah, it's not a real good time to do that. We're in my opinion. We're going to talk about it because we just got done talking about how Hollywood regretted going on strike because things never went back to normal. And now SAG-AFTRA is going on strike in the video game industry. And it's over AI. And I think it's going to end the same way. I think it's going to end with fewer people having jobs. But maybe at this point, you got nothing to lose, right? I mean, it's never going to come back to what it was. We're talking a record number of layoffs in the video game industry. We've been covering this. But again, you know, back to what I said when the Hollywood strikes happened, that you never ask daddy for a pony when he just lost his job. And we have so many studios shutting down. We have so many companies cutting back. We just did this video the other day talking about Humble Games getting effectively shut down by IGN, and you know, so many developers being shut down by Embracer Group. Now is not a good time to ask for more money. I'm just saying, but I think it's kind of all or nothing because I think a lot of these, especially the voice actors, know that their time is up. That you know, they're staring down the barrel of the gun, and it's either get some protection or get no protection. So, but what's going to happen is they're just going to step right over you. They can do it easier in the video game industry than they can do in TVs and TV and movies. So good luck with that because they're already using AI. So let's talk about it. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Again, check out the D-Res podcast. Check out Clownfish Gaming. More gaming news over there. This has come from IGN. Ironically, IGN, which just shut down its own video game publisher and laid off 36 people and then lied about it and got caught lying about it. It's just a restructure. It's just a little bit of a restructure. Nah, it's over. What the SAG-AFTRA video game actors strike means for gamers. Said SAG-AFTRA is officially on strike. Last year, they wrote that in relation to the Hollywood actors taking to the picket lines alongside writers with the WGA. This year, the story is video game voice actors who say gaming companies are refusing to meet their demands on AI. The Hollywood actor strike has been resolved, but some people still have issues with the AI. They said that with video games, they started in October of 2022. So the Hollywood actor strike has been resolved. SAG-AFTRA started on the video game strike in October of 2022, and they approved a video game strike authorization last September with 98% approval. Now the strike's official, and here's what's going to happen. They said, yeah, IGN said, didn't I already read this headline? They said there's a recap. There's a lot of SAG-AFTRA AI strike voice actor video game related news. They said they spoke to SAG-AFTRA representatives way back in September of last year, right as they authorized the strike. And at the time, that didn't mean the strike was happening, just that they had authorized. Now they're actually on strike. Since that time, they've made strides on basically every single issue on the table except AI. So they've been talking for the last couple months now, last several months. SAG-AFTRA has been banging this drum ever since, from leafleting outside the Game Awards to striking a deal with AI studio Replica AI to ensure protections for voice actors. Replica AI, I believe is the company that James Earl Jones used to work with or sold his voice to or whatever, how that works. Disney basically owns the Darth Vader voice now. Yeah, and Darth Vader makes sense. He's a cyborg. So the robotic voice, even if it doesn't sound 100% like James Earl Jones, sounds kind of robotic while they were running his voice through a filter anyway. But yeah, it'll get better. So not all members were thrilled about the agreement. In that time, some game studios have signed interim agreements with SAG-AFTRA that include AI protections, but they couldn't reach a deal. So after months of negotiations, SAG-AFTRA is calling a strike beginning on July 26th. SAG-AFTRA Negotiations Committee members explained that one of the biggest issues remaining involved the definition of who a performer is. Video game companies say negotiating chair Sarah Elmaleh are trying to exclude some members from AI protection and are refusing to spell out other protection in clear and enforceable language. The employer's AI provisions leave folks who put their bodies on the line the most vulnerable abuse. Okay, so it was kind of a twofer. We were talking about voice actors, and we're also talking about motion capture performers, as I understand it. And those people were actually getting hurt on the job. As I understand it, the motion capture performers were getting hurt on the job. So I do agree with protections for them. AI voice actors basically want assurance that they're not going to be replaced by a robot. But the reality is, in video games, more so than in Hollywood, you can be replaced pretty easily. I mean, we had decades of video games with no voice acting whatsoever, and those games actually sold very well, and a lot of people are still playing those games. So if we had to go back to that, I don't think people would be terribly heartbroken about it. You know, it's like so many video games were made without voice acting. In fact, it was kind of weird when Mario started talking. It's kind of weird when Sonic started talking. And there have been multiple Sonic voice actors, and nobody really thought anything of it. So I don't think, I mean, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I don't think that voice actors are as important to video games as they obviously are for animation and movies and TV shows. And you know what I'm saying? Because video games are more interactive and the player becomes the main character. So they can use their imagination, I guess. And that sounds really tight. I'm not trying to be a dick because, I mean, there are some very memorable voice actors out there. But I just want to remind people that we played games without voice acting for years. And I don't think video game players, will have such a negative reaction to AI, especially if it's, even somewhat passable, because it's kind of a joke for the longest time that like the worst voice acting was in video games when they first started using voice acting in video games. But I was old enough to remember the transition from no voice acting to voice acting. And it was kind of weird to hear these characters talk for the first time. It was kind of like, wow, that's not really what I thought they'd sound like, but okay. So what games are impacted? So basically Activision, Disney, Take-Two, all the people they're laying off. So I want to talk about this because I think that this is a bad idea for them right now. And I'm just going to go on record as saying that. I think it's going to end like it did with Hollywood. And I want to point out too that MiHoYo, right? We have a whole bunch of voice actors with MiHoYo doing Genshin Impact, speaking out about race, speaking out about the fact that they've apparently whitewashed characters in, I think it's the Natlan region, this new region of the game, Genshin Impact. These are just voice actors, right? But they're out there saying, hey, you whitewashed these fictional characters, and they're actually turning against the company. Do you think that's going to help your case any? I mean, you're literally staring down the barrel of the gun at this point. Now you're going to go on strike and ask for more money. And now you're going to complain about race in video games. And you know what they're going to do? I'm just telling you what they're going to do. They're going to say, see ya. See ya, guys. We don't need you anymore. So you're actually going to hasten your demise. You have to prove to these companies why you are irreplaceable. And I don't think a lot of voice actors can do that. I don't think they can. I think, again, gamers are a different breed. I think we're used to everything being kind of generated on the fly, and if voices are generated on the fly, we're going to think it's pretty cool. I'm going to be honest. I mean, rather than have pre-recorded dialogue, if you've got, AI characters that are, NPCs that are speaking dialogue on the fly based on what you've done in the game, that's actually pretty dang cool. And people are going to be like, yeah, I'm down with that. What could also happen is that they don't want to pay the royalties to a certain actor or actress. So they'll just create a composite voice, kind of like Scarlett Johansson, right? Kind of like that, but not quite. So you can't technically sue them because you can't prove that it was like, 2 or 3 different actors that we just kind of blended into whatever we think the perfect voice for this character would be. Like if we took all 3, I think there were 3 or 4 Sonic actors and we kind of fuse them into one perfect Sonic voice, and then we tweaked it a little bit, I don't think you have to pay those actors. That's how they're going to look at it legally. And it sucks. I mean, it does. But yeah, I mean, it's going to slow down production. And again, we have record numbers of layoffs in the video game industry. Now is not a good time to ask for more money. But they're going to, because they don't seem to understand how the economy works. So this is coming from Wired. It said AI is already taking jobs in the video game industry. A Wired investigation finds that all major players like Activision, which recently laid off scores of workers, are just using generative AI for game development. And there it is, guys, and they're going to use more of it. During the SAG-AFTRA strikes, WGA strikes, the studios were using AI. You're not going to stop it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I want to be very clear about that. People are like, yeah, you're rooting for it. I'm like, no. But I'm also like, I'm a realist, and I know that you're actually painting a huge target on your backs. When you're asking for more money, they're literally like, we have your replacement right over there. Oh, you want paid more? Okay, bye. See ya. Because we're covered. And that's why they're doing this. They learn, they watch the Hollywood strikes, and they're like, yeah, if everybody's going to cost more, we're just going to speed up our AI plans because we got to make a profit. So in spring of 2023, this Activision artist got an email that they said that AI was top of mind. And there are a couple emails like that sent to the employees at the studio, which produces Call of Duty. They said that they approved the internal use of generative AI tools, Midjourney and Stable Diffusion, for producing concept art, not final art. But that'll change as it gets better. I think the only reason that final art's not being used is because it's not good enough yet, and there are a lot of telltale signs, but eventually there won't be. That spring, back-channel chats lit up with rumors, worry, and whisper networks of whose jobs AI might replace, where executives saw reason for excitement because they probably get bonuses based on profit. Many game artists, writers, and designers saw a direct threat to their livelihoods. Noah was grief-stricken. Noah's a pseudonym. He doesn't want to be fired. He said, I felt that we were throwing away our humanity. Then the jobs started disappearing. So video games and the people who make them are in trouble. An estimated 10,000 people in the industry were laid off in 2023 alone. It's worse this year. This year, layoffs in the nearly $200 billion sector have only gotten worse, with studios axing what is to believe to be 11,000 more people. And we're only halfway through the year, a little more than halfway. Microsoft and the parent company of Xbox and Activision shuttered Tango Gameworks. Yes, Tango made Hi-Fi Rush, which was very good, and Alpha Dog Games in May. All the while, generative AI systems built by OpenAI and its competitors have been seeping into nearly every industry, dismantling whole careers along the way. But gaming might be the biggest industry AI stands poised to conquer. Its economic might has long since eclipsed Hollywood. And while its workforce remains mostly non-union, a recent survey from the organizers of the GDC found that 49% of the surveys, more than 3,000 respondents, said their workplace used AI. And 4 out of 5 said they had ethical concerns about its use. It says here, it's definitely here. It says Violet, a game developer, technical artist, and veteran of the industry who's worked on AAA games for over a decade. I think everyone's seen it get used. It's a matter of how and to what degree the genie is out of the bottle. Pandora's box is open. Yeah. I mean, this is, look, I'm just saying, as someone who's been around for a while, and as someone who watched the strikes go down, and I watched how it negatively impacted Hollywood, that now there are not as many jobs because you just made a damn good case for studios being a lot more judicious with their spending. I mean, it's even getting to the point in Hollywood where they're going to greenlight movies and TV shows based on how AI thinks audiences will react to them. I mean, you look at the success of Deadpool and Wolverine this weekend, and it does almost feel like they inputted a bunch of stuff into AI, and it's like, okay, what is going to be the most crowd-pleasing team-up movie in X-Men history? Well, Deadpool and Wolverine, and do these things, bring these characters in. Let's bring in, you know, and I'm not gonna spoil the movie for you, but they have a bunch of cameos in there and a lot of in jokes, and I could totally see something like that being written by AI. I mean, about a year and a half ago, we tasked Chat GPT, and this is version 3.5, with coming up with an outline for a Star Wars sequel trilogy that would be more fan pleasing and make more money at the box office. And the outline sounded better than what Disney actually did. You know, it's here, and there's not much you can do about it. But I think going on strike right now and criticizing MiHoYo right now, I think is a bad move, because I think you're making a damn good case for why you should be replaced. Just my opinion. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.